$23 million is up for grabs as basic income pilots prepare to hand out cash across the U.S. And this is for free, y'all. Basic income trials are rolling out across the U.S. as governments and organizations prepare to hand out millions of dollars with no strings attached. The pilot will give $500 per month to 130 families to determine how cash handouts can help people who are struggling to keep a roof over their head and put food on the table. The pilot is powered by the United Way California Capital Region and a donation from the Sierra Health Foundation, with the application period open until October 31st. So you still have time to get those applications in, Californians. Meanwhile, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation has allocated $6.2 million to fuel a basic income for women of color in Georgia. This is reported through the Rough Draft Atlanta. The money will be used to fund the In Her Hands initiative, which aims to give an average of $850 per month for 24 months to 650 women across 3 communities in Georgia. Furthermore, the above programs join a $2 million basic income initiative in Fairfax County, Virginia, along with a $1.2 million initiative in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and a $1.3 million pilot in Austin, Texas, a $449,400 trial in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and a $12 million guaranteed income campaign in Santa Clara County, California, for a total of more than $23 million in upcoming guaranteed income handouts across America. Now, although the impact of basic income programs is an ongoing debate, early results from a guaranteed income pilot in Denver, Colorado found that 6 months into the trial, rates of homelessness and food insecurity have dropped among participants, with shelter and employment rates on the rise. So let's talk universal basic income.
I've been driven to universal basic income in part because I've been looking at the numbers. The 5 most common jobs in the United States right now are administrative and clerical work, retail and sales, food service and food prep, truck driving and transportation, and manufacturing. Those 5 jobs comprise about half of all American jobs. Only 32% of Americans graduate from college. So the average American is a high school grad doing one of these 5 jobs. And if you look at it, technology is already doing a number.
Universal basic income is a concept that has been gaining a lot of popularity in the most recent years. It is an unconditional cash payment given at regular intervals by the United States government, or any government for that matter. It's given to its residents regardless of their earnings or employment status. The idea behind UBI, Universal Basic Income, is to provide people with a minimum living standard, even if they get unemployed and do not find a job. This is crazy. So stick with us today as we look at the pros and cons of a universal basic income system, how we can usher in such a system, and a United States political figure who has been spearheading this charge for quite some time, Mr. Andrew Yang. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Urban FinTech at the G-Spot Studios channels, where we try to make finance and technology sexy. I'm your girl, G. So history has shown us over and over again, whenever you usher in a new system, a new type of technology, a new way of doing things, that there are concerns. So there are some advantages if we were to look at a universal basic income system. It reduces poverty. It allows income equality to exist and alleviates income inequality, and it improves physical and mental health of people naturally, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. It also provides a sense of financial freedom at an individual level, so each person has an opportunity with a universal basic income system to do some of the things that they probably hadn't had a chance to do previous to that, whether it be the amount of workload hours they have, their family obligations, whatever that could be. There is a way that this system can free up some of that time and allow a person to be more creative and do some of the things they really want to do in life. And because of that, this system would allow people to really choose the work that they want to get involved in. You don't have to be a slave to a labor force that you're not interested in, but that you have to work in just to get by, just to survive. That in some sense seems unethical and even criminal. And so I think as we uh, evolve again as a human race, we are learning some of the things that just don't work anymore. And it's okay to change things as we evolve and get better. And we know that when people are doing things that they really enjoy doing, it no longer appears as work. It allows people to be more productive and contribute more to society and to the greater goal, greater good. And another factor with a UBI system is the fair distribution of wealth. Again, we talked about eliminating that inequality income gap that exists. It also is like an insurance against unemployment, so it helps to fight poverty in that respect as well. If you have this steady income that comes in, you know you can depend on it. If you get laid off, if you know your job just goes downhill, bankrupt, you have a way to support yourself, to continue to support your family, to cover your needs as every human being should have in this world that we live in, modern day world. One of the biggest factors is it can help eliminate or alleviate mental health concerns and stressful situations that have proven to deteriorate the mental health of individuals. And this is important because we all know, honey, going to these jobs, these 9 to 5s, day in, day out, getting up in the morning, Sunday night, dreading. Okay, did you even know that the highest rate of suicide is on Sunday night? And they attribute that to the fact that people have these jobs that they hate. Unbelievable. So, all of this sounds so good and dandy, but there also are concerns when we think about a universal basic income system. One of the concerns is inflation. There is a concern that the government prints more money to sort of find a means to fund this new universal basic income system. And this also could be a system that can discourage people from working and lead to a decline of productivity. So, the opposite of what we just mentioned. And another factor is it could be difficult to supplement in practice as it requires a significant change in the tax system and social welfare programs. And I would even argue it requires a change in our whole understanding, human understanding of work and finance and economic system that we currently have, taxation. That whole system just has to be uprooted, changed, buried somewhere else, and we're planting new seeds, baby. New seeds. And one of my thoughts on this is that, yeah, it is pretty cutting edge, pretty revolutionary. There are people who are like, come on now, y'all are just lazy, y'all don't want to work. What about the 9 to 5? Blah blah blah. My grandmother and grandfather, our forefathers, blah blah blah. The idea is that what used to work doesn't always continue to work. And as we advance, we have to evolve or we will die, whether it be physical death or just sort of a figurative way. We have to understand that we have to change. Change is inevitable, change is good. And so I think that with the advent of artificial intelligence and the various roles it will play in the future, and it will play roles and it will be here, it is coming. This will ultimately change the workforce as we know it anyway. And so if we can get ahead of the curve and look at how a such system of universal basic income can help alleviate and offset some of those changes that are to come, then I think we have a good foot in front of a new evolution of work style, maintaining. So let's take a look at how we could usher in a universal basic income system. And when I tell you I am here for it, honey, all the way here, present, first row, seat, hands up, listening, attentive, here. Ushering in a UBI system could be used as a way of a funding source. A UBI could be funded through various means, such as redirecting existing social welfare budgets, implementing progressive taxation, levying a value added tax, which is the VAT, which is used currently in other governmental forms, or even exploring new revenue streams like carbon taxes and sovereign wealth funds. And those are all things that you all can go do your homework on, and hopefully we'll have more videos in the future to delve a little bit more deeper into those. Another way is the amount of frequency. This is something that we have to look at. The amount of universal basic income would need to be carefully determined based on factors like the cost of living, social economic conditions, and the specific goals of a program. It should be sufficient to cover basic necessities like food, shelter, and healthcare. And that goes with common sense. So, for example, universal basic income could be distributed on a monthly or quarterly basis. It really just depends on sort of the mathematics and how it breaks down and the sense, if it makes sense to get that sense. You know what I'm saying? Get it? Coins, money. Okay, I'll stop. Unconditionality. So, one of the defining features of a universal basic income is its unconditional nature. It is given to all citizens, rich or poor, employed or unemployed, without any means, testing, or work requirements. This reduces bureaucracy and stigma associated with traditional welfare programs. So, this isn't your traditional welfare, honey. You're not sitting back and just getting a check. There's some other factors that are well thought out that contribute to the world, that make people's lives easier, that makes us healthier as human beings, which ultimately makes our planet healthier, and just makes society much richer. And you want a universal basic income system to complement and not necessarily replace existing programs. So UBI, it is intended to complement rather than replace social safety nets. Certain targeted programs, for example, disability benefits, specific healthcare programs, may still be necessary alongside the universal basic income system. Ushering in such a system will require a phasing in and potentially a pilot program. So implementing UBI could involve a gradual phasing in process to monitor the effects on the economy, on employment, on unemployment, and other social dynamics. Pilot programs in specific regions or communities can provide valuable data and insights. And so this will help us to improve the program and make sure that it is working effectively. This could have an impact on labor markets, and that is something that we want to carefully monitor while ushering in a UBI system. There are a lot of critics that worry that UBI could discourage work if people choose not to seek employment. However, studies from pilot programs that are already out suggest that the impact on employment tends to be pretty modest, with many people continuing to work and using UBI as a supplemental income for their households. And they pursue education, training, other sort of volunteerism, and different things that actually help to benefit society as a whole. So with the UBI system, we also want to do a cost benefit analysis. And this is where the government would need to conduct rigorous cost benefit analysis to evaluate the economic, social, and health outcomes of a UBI system. This includes considerations of potential productivity, the gains, whether it can reduce poverty, and also improve mental health. And you also want to have some adaptability and flexibility with a UBI system, as you want to have the means to change things and make them different and applicable for certain countries, whether they have different contexts, different regions, different needs. You want to be able to be more adaptable to that. And so one size does not fit all. It is very solution focused. And so there may be areas that have certain things that they need to focus on, whereas another area can have something totally different and needs to be a little bit more flexible in that regard. And I think the ultimate test of a UBI system being ushered in would be to have the public support. You need the successful implementation of a UBI to require the broad public support and political will. The people have to be willing to try it, to do it, to be bought into this system. This can involve public education about the benefits and potential challenges of UBI. But we all know We've watched the TikTok videos. I'm on YouTube. I'm seeing all these people just make all these videos about inflation, the work that they hate doing, the great resignation. Like, it's in the making. It is in there. It's ingrained in us already. We're just ready to leap, right? We're waiting for people to get froggy. Once they get froggy, we're jumping. We're jumping on into the new UBI system because we've been ready, honey. Ready like Freddy. Let's check out what former presidential runner and political figure Andrew Yang has to say about universal basic income.
Yeah, so I've been driven to universal basic income in part because I've been looking at the numbers. The five most common jobs in the United States right now are administrative and clerical work, retail and sales, food service and food prep, truck driving and transportation and manufacturing. Those five jobs comprise about half of all American jobs. Only 32% of Americans graduate from college. So the average American's a high school grad doing one of these five jobs. And if you look at it, technology is already doing a number on each of these jobs. Like the first, administrative and clerical, includes call center workers, and AI is in the process of taking over that job. Retail and sales, 30% of malls are closing in the next 4 years. So the danger here is to think of it as artificial intelligence is coming. It's actually already eating up the most common jobs in our economy, and it's driving Americans into distress.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but can I be the first to say that, honey, I've been waiting on this day. I never thought it would come. I am so excited. I hope that this is something that we take to the next level, implement. It's almost necessary. Even if we don't do it in the next couple of years, it will be something, excuse me, that has to be looked at and considered at least in the next 10 to 15 years. Our world is just changing drastically. Again, with AI and all the other technologies that are coming into existence, we need to be ahead of the game. And so I don't know about you, but this is giving me rainbows and bow ties and unicorn and sunshine energy. I'm just excited about it. Sexy, 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 baby. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time.